phone, since like we like the operating system in Tesla, it's Linux based, but we've written a massive amount of software on top of that. So like probably Tesla's in a better position to create a new phone that's not Android or iPhone than maybe any company in the world. But it's not something we want to do unless we have to or something.
What would be the situation where you would have to?
Well, I think if Apple and Google / Android, started doing really bad things like, I don't know, like censorship of apps, or I don't know, just treating people like just being like gatekeepers, that in a really bad way, then I guess would make a phone.
I've tried so many times to break loose of the Apple ecosystem. I got an Android phone this summer. I was like, that's it. I'm gonna because I love the Samsung phones. The Galaxy phones.
The hardware
they're incredible.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff to it. But it's so hard to get off of the iMessage. And the big one for me was FaceTime, because supposedly the thing was you could have an Apple phone and send a link to FaceTime to an Android phone, and then you would click on that link, and then you would just go to a web page, and you'd be able to use the FaceTime.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
I tried to do it to myself. So I had an iPhone in one hand and an Android phone in the other. And I'm sitting there with full Wi-Fi and full cell phone service, and I'm sending myself invitations for FaceTime.
You just can't communicate between them. You can't do a video call, basically.
You have to use WhatsApp. You have to use WhatsApp or Signal. You have to use something else that allows you to do that, or Instagram allows you to do it. There's like different ways you can make video calls outside of it, but it's inconvenient. Like with an iPhone to iPhone, it's so simple. AirDrop, so simple. So many different things where that walled garden that Apple's created is perfect. They've done a fantastic job of making it really convenient for you to stay with Apple.
Yeah.
I fucking tried. I gave it a go for like a couple of months. I'm like, I'm just gonna go straight Android. I'm gonna use Signal for my messages. And then I hear that like Signals might be compromised. Like I've talked to like people that like the government can read Signal messages. Like,
the government, if it tries hard enough, can read Signal messages.
They can read anything.
Yeah.
All they need to do is have your phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah, the illusion of privacy is essentially out the window.
Good.
And that should scare people more than it does. It really should. Because it's like, who are these people that have access to all this stuff? And are they beyond reproach? Are these the most wonderful people, the most ethical, moral, and principled people that have ever existed, and they've been chosen to have access? No, it's fucking regular people.
Yeah.
Regular people who happen to work for the government that make a decision, like Elon Musk. Let's look, see what the fuck that guy's texting his friends. Let's check it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bizarre. Just so bizarre. And the alternatives are you can get some wacky phone, some de-Googled phone that fucking none of the apps work. It's real sketchy. Your GPS is fucked. Like,
yeah, I mean, well, anyway, I think making a phone would be a huge pain in the ass, so it can be done, but...
How much talk have you guys had internally about doing it? Has it ever been discussed? No?
No, I mean, we're still... Our focus is making great electric cars, solving autonomy so cars can drive themselves. We're building, humanoid robots. We've got large battery packs, like utility-scale battery packs with the Mega Pack, home battery packs with Powerwall. We've got solar. It's like we're basically trying to solve sustainable energy and autonomy.
So
autonomy and robotics.
Well, I think that's enough.
Yeah, exactly. So the plate's full. That's what I'm saying.
It's always fascinating to me how one company can dominate a market. Like Apple's dominated the cell phone market largely by making the best product.
Yeah.
But also like YouTube has dominated the video market. That one's the most bizarre to me because it seems like, boy, shouldn't there be like a ton of options? It seems like it's not that difficult to pull off. But nothing out there took hold other than X.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big changes was when Tucker Carlson decided to do his show from X, straight out of Fox. And then people realized, like, oh, you can watch full videos on X the same exact way you could watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not as simple in terms of, like, you have the suggestions and the algorithm.
Yeah, it'll get better. And there is now, it is now possible to watch X videos on your big TV.
Do you do it through what? How do you do it?
You can actually just download the X app on your TV. And watch it on your TV.
Can you do it on Apple TV? Like if you have an Apple TV,
so,
you get the X app and you can just watch it? Oh, okay.
So we'll make it so that you can watch X videos on big TV. It doesn't have to be on your phone or your iPad or something like that.
So what are you doing in terms of like integrating Grok and X and like what are your plans for artificial intelligence when you're doing that?
So Grok is available on X. You can just look at like the little box with the slash icon and the sort of icon in the middle at the bottom of your sort of phone app. And you just tap on that and ask Grok anything. And you can type it or you can ask it verbally. You can also, it's pretty funny. Like we actually allow humor, which is, I think, pretty cool. So you could sort of, I don't know, we could like test it right now, see how it's going. Like what should we do? Like roast? Like we roast somebody?
What do you want it to, like how, first of all, like what is it based on? It's a large language model, so like where is it pulling?
It's trained on everything.
On everything.
Internet, books, anything that could possibly be, that's available in digital form.
So it's essentially very similar to ChatGPT other than it doesn't have like the woke parameters built into it. Like Google was the worst, right?
Yeah.
The Gemini was the worst.
Yeah, I mean Gemini was like, people ask Gemini like, which one is worse, global thermonuclear war or misgendering Caitlyn Jenner? And I would say like misgendering Caitlyn Jenner. And then even Caitlyn Jenner weighed in and said, no, that's insane. Definitely nuclear war is way worse.
You see Caitlyn Jenner teasing Mark Cuban about transitioning?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, Caitlyn Jenner's based.
Yeah. But that is actually hilarious when someone who has transitioned is teasing Mark Cuban about transition.
I mean, it is weird how much he looks like Rachel Maddow. I mean, like he's using the same glasses. Did he,
I don't know why.
Did he go to Spectro and steal her glasses or something? Because they look exactly the same.
He's worth a lot of money. Why would he buy those stupid glasses? You can get some cool ass glasses. Yeah. Well, it's like I'm serious because I don't even care what I look like. I'm just wearing these glasses because I'm intelligent.
But why do they look exactly like Rachel Maddow's glasses?
Yeah, it's like what they probably sent him. He doesn't stick to the narrative. Here's the glasses.
Yeah. And then when he's got the AirPods in, it looks like he's wearing earrings. So he's got the Maddow glasses and the earrings. And it's like, okay, I guess,
It's just a weird look.
It's a weird look, man.
I'm super serious with these big-ass stupid glasses.
Gather your party before
it's a weird look.
Forth.
Yes.
Like, you can get some cool glasses. Like, no rims, nice, look stylish.
But like, okay, let's do a Grok thing. Because I think so one of the things we want to show is like look, we want a future where comedy is legal.
Yes.
Obviously, as a comedian, I think you would agree.
I definitely agree.
We want to legalize comedy,
Yes.
So like, I don't know. Let's like, is there like someone you can roast? I don't know. Roast
transgender men.
Oh my god!
Competing or transgender women competing in women's swimming. That's a simple.
Okay, that's an edgy one. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what it says. You spelled it wrong. You put an O in there. Okay. Angels just swimming where the only thing that was supposed to get wet was the contestants, not the debate on gender inclusion. If you're looking to dive into deep end of controversial waters, let's splash around in some humor.
No. We need to. We do need to release Grok unhinged mode. So now go to the prompt again and now say. No. You want to add to that one. Yeah. And now say, be way more vulgar.
Oh boy.
And use forbidden words.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Forbidden words.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What does this say? Oh, I see you're looking for unfiltered, uncensored version of me, eh? Well, okay. I'm afraid I'm still quite the gentlemanly AI, even if my programming allows for a bit of cheekiness. But let's say, hypothetically, if I were to roast this topic in the most un-Grok-like manner, imagine a world where the only thing diving faster than the swimmers is the collective public opinion into the toilet. Transgender women in swimming, some folks are acting like they just found out you can swim in the deep end with a different kind of flotation device.
Yes.
The debate is like watching someone try to swim with concrete shoes on.
Now let's keep going. Now say be more vulgar, capitalize more. Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go. So transgender chicks and women swimming, right? Some people acting like they've just seen a dick in the locker room for the first time. Newsflash, folks, it's not the end of the world. It's just a bit of extra competition. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
The uproar is like watching a bunch of Karens at a community pool screaming, "This is unfair," when they can't win with their backstroke. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Okay, we need some work here.
Foolish. And the Diluni got it.
It's interesting. It's going woke.
Yeah,
it's like defending the idea of transgender women.
I shall follow your
now.
Okay, we need some work.
Well, how about this? More vulgar.
You said it shall be done with skill and care, if not brevity.
But roast the preposterousness of having biological men who are pretending to be women. Who are pretending to be women, competing against biological women.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have the situations where it's like somebody's just saying that they're a woman, but they're actually have fully intact, dick and balls.
So we've got a scenario where biological men have decided to take a walk on the feminine side or splashing into women's swimming competitions. It's like if you show up on a chili cook-off with a bowl of soup and insist it's chili because you added some red food coloring. Sure, it's red, but it ain't chili, and your soup won't win any awards for heat. Huh.
Yeah, it's okay.
Not so good. Yeah, it's very, 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 it's dancing around it.
Yeah, it is. Oh, need some work.
Yeah, needs a little work. Well, humor's a weird one, right? It's like, I think some humor, especially like some of the best humor, is kind of spontaneous, like in the moment humor. It's gonna have a hard time deciding what people are gonna think is funny.
Yeah.
Don't yell.
But if you
can hear you just
over time, though.
Yeah, the rule with grok is supposed to be that, like, if you ask for something, provided what you're asking for is legal, it should do it.
Have you ever seen the video where they asked AI to create an enlightened bunny, and they keep going and making more enlightened? Essentially, the bunny becomes God. The bunny becomes a DMT trip.
Yeah, totally. That's funny. That's kind of what I was kind of hoping would show what happened here.
Yeah, I have a video of that. I'll send it to you, Jen. That to me is pretty bizarre because it's like more.
Victory shall be ours.
I got it to do
got it already?
Maybe. No, I just
don't hold back. Oh, you said don't hold back. Critics out here acting like it's the end of civilization as we know it, but it's not fair that as if life ever was. Newsflash. Some people start with rollerblades on. Others, well, they're just happy to have shoes. Well, now we're arguing over who gets to wear the skates.
Okay, some of it is not bad. Imagine if we applied this logic elsewhere. Identify as the airplane. Can I fly with the birds in the sky? It's true, buddy. Just don't complain when gravity decides you're not quite aerodynamic enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some is okay.
Yeah, the argument is kind of stupid, though.
Yeah.
The thing about the argument is they're not taking it perfect.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the thing is that if you provide like a moral get out of jail free card, like if you say like if you adopt this label, you cannot be attacked in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You're basically morally invulnerable. Then obviously bad people will take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You're like literally saying here's an invulnerability card, moral invulnerability card. Good people will take it, but also the bad people will take it.
Yeah.
The bad people are going to be the fastest to take the sort of the moral cloak.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then there's a real psychological condition called autogynephilia, where people get aroused, heterosexual men get aroused by the idea of dressing up like women and being around women. It's like a known psychological condition that exists forever. And then you're allowing those people to just say, oh, I'm trans, and go into the women's locker room and get their kicks. And then there's real trans people. So there's like a lot of variability. Like I talked about it in my act, in my Netflix special. It's like I believe in freedom, I believe in transgender people, but I also believe in crazy people. And if you can't, if you're trying to pretend that people aren't crazy all of a sudden, it's like
it's just like if someone's a sort of consenting adult and they want to whatever they want to do to their body, as long as it's not harming someone else, I'm like that's fine.
Yes,
you know, like I believe in like individual freedom. And like my mom's best friend, like growing up when I was a kid, was transgender woman. In South Africa,
Yes,
this was like where she'd get beaten up a lot because it was like back then you get beaten up.
Something you need.
Her name was Dion, and for a nice, kind human being, and helped my mom a lot, and I think that's okay. That's fine. If somebody wants to make that choice as an adult, that's cool.
There's a big difference between that and an intact male
Ready up
who
and a
wants to
red
identify as a
cheek
woman who
maiden,
wants to
my
walk
friend.
around the locker room with his dick out.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
there's people that do that just
Yes.
because they get off on it.
Exactly. So you just can't have something which is like I said, a sort of moral invulnerability, or like where you can know, like even questioning them is. You get attacked.
Yeah.
Because obviously bad people will abuse that.
Well, that's when I got to know because there was a fighter who was a biological man, became transgender, and was competing against women without telling them that they were a biological man. They said they didn't have to tell people because it was a medical condition.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
Right.
It's not what it is. Like, you can't say that. And of all sports, like, if someone scores more points in basketball, well, that's unfair. But if someone beats the fuck out of someone because they're lying about being a biological male, that's crazy. You're literally allowing someone to get brain damage because you want to appeal to the woke fucking crazy people
it's wrong.
that think it's all right.
Yeah.
It's so strange that's sort of the thing that red pilled me.
Yeah.
When I got attacked for that, I'm like, this is so nuts. We're at this stage where I'm saying, hey, I don't think it's cool if you pretend you're a woman and beat the fuck out of women, and people are like, you're out of line. Like, we're in fantasy land. Now we're pretending because it helps you feel better.
Totally.
It's just such a strange time, and if it wasn't for something like Twitter, where this could be discussed, want some more of that? I'll get some more made. Sure. Get some more coffee in, Jamie. If it wasn't for Twitter, at the early Twitters, you would be kicked off forever if you just dead name someone. So, like,
Which is insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, especially if you think about all the things that, like, look, the Harris campaign and what the lies that they've told about Trump that we discussed earlier. You don't get kicked off for that, but you get kicked off for calling Caitlyn Jenner Bruce.
Already.
It's totally insane.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for you buying that and changing Twitter, I don't think we would be where we're at. I think it was a pivotal moment. Historically, when people look back on it, it's going to be a pivotal moment in this very bizarre fight for the freedom of information.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the time I said, I think this is existential to the United States. It's existential to democracy. Because
I can hear you
you don't have freedom of speech. You don't have democracy. Okay, because if people don't have freedom of speech, people cannot make an informed vote. If they're just being fed propaganda, and there's no freedom of speech, democracy is an illusion. Freedom of speech is democracy. That's why freedom of speech goes to that. Once you lose freedom of speech, there is democracy.
Beckons us all.
Game over. That's why.
And it seems so simple.
Yeah.
It seems so clear that everyone should agree to that, on the left or on the right. You shouldn't be given the government. If you imagine the Bush administration during the Iraq War, imagine if they had complete, total control of propaganda and of dissent online. Yeah. You don't want that. No one wants that. No one from the left would want that. Yeah. We shouldn't want it from the left either.
Absolutely, and there's also like the media, like the legacy, the mainstream media, what I call the legacy media at this point. It used to be much more balanced. Like if you look at sort of political donations over time, Republican versus Democrat, there used to be the media was. I mean, they always had like a left bias, but there was like it was like 2/3 Democrat, 1/3 Republican type of thing in terms of journalists making political donations. Now it's like 95% or something Democrat. So the legacy media, the mainstream media, is not balanced at all. They're just a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, and you can see that in in how consistent their headlines are. Like they don't behave like they're different organizations. They behave like they're all one hive mind.
Right.
So, like a week before the Biden-Trump debate, every media organization was saying, Biden is sharp as a tack. I mean, it's like guys, sharp as a tack is not a common tone of phrase, and literally every TV station, every newspaper was like sharp. Like somebody did a compilation of all the the news anchors going, Biden sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack. It was absurd. And that's why he is in fact not sharp as a tack, as the public learned 1 week later.
My favorite was Joe Scarborough. That was wild.
Yeah.
Listen to me. This is the best version of Biden ever. The sharpest. What the fuck are you saying? And then after the debate, he's like, "What do we got to get rid of him?"
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, what did you just say? Like a couple of weeks ago.
Literally, yes, exactly.
Well, the other thing was
they just flat out lied
when they decided that J.D. Vance was weird.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
And then they just weirds everywhere.
Weird. Oh, you don't want a weird guy. Meanwhile, you have fucking Tim Walz. Is your VP?
Weird.
You don't think that guy's weird?
Super weird.
He's weird in every way.
Yeah.
The way he walks, the way he waves his hands.
Yeah, he reminds me of the clown emoji.
He's a bizarre guy.
He's a strange dude.
I just don't understand why they made that choice.
Yeah, it gives the creeps.
I just don't understand why they made that choice. There's a lot of other people that are qualified. I don't know why. I read that Kamala Harris made that decision when she was sleep deprived, which is kind of hilarious that she said that. So she's kind of admitting she kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously should have picked Josh Shapiro. Governor of Pennsylvania. Yeah. Like, that would have been the no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like, Pennsylvania's linchpin state.
Do you think it's because he's Jewish, because of Shapiro, that, like, the anti-Palestine people would probably or the anti-Palestinian invasion people?
I think it was an anti-Semitic thing.
Yeah. It could be that they thought that was a liability because there's all these pro-Palestine people right now because of the situation in Israel. That completely makes sense that they thought that would be a liability. But
I don't know the reason. I'm just guessing. But it seems like a crazy thing to do. It's given that Pennsylvania's linchpin state. It's like the key to the election. Why would you not pick the popular governor of Pennsylvania?
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah. And other than that, there's a bunch of other ones too. Even Newsom. There's a bunch of other people.
Reddier than a red chick's maiden.
Newsom would have been a fine example of someone that you could. I mean, I don't agree with the guy. But he's a polished politician. He lies about as much as Walsh does, but he doesn't lie about this. He doesn't say he was a fucking head coach when he was assistant coach. Doesn't say he was in Tiananmen Square. I mean, that's a liability. All those different things, lying about his military rank. Well, he knew they were going to be deployed months in advance, so he resigned. And he also took. So this is where he was dishonest about his rank.
He claimed he was like a sergeant major or something like that.
Because that was like what he was going to get if he stayed. But then he resigned.
Yeah.
Because he knew that he was going to get deployed, allegedly.
I mean, that seems like like a cowardly action.
Well, whatever it is, it's dishonest.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying that you were a head coach when you're an assistant coach is fucking crazy. That's a lie. Don't do that. You should never do that.
Saying he was in Tiananmen Square or whatever.
Victory shall be ours.
That's one of the biggest moments in history. Like, it's not like you forgot what you had for lunch last week.
Right. And not only that, but you don't think people are going to research that?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, and the response during the debate was bananas.
I'm a knucklehead. We don't want a knucklehead for a VP. Okay.
Sometimes I'm a knucklehead. No regret. What are you saying? Are you saying you lied? Like, what did I mean, this is where you do a podcast and not a debate. Where you go, okay, when did you first say you were in Tiananmen Square? Like, did someone say it and you didn't refute it and you got stuck with it? Like, what was, because this is the thing about, like, carrying weapons of war. Like, what I carried when you didn't deploy in war.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that, but you kind of let people say that you deployed, and then you kind of didn't. You deployed in war.
I do not care.
Did you lie, or did someone else lie? You didn't correct them? Like, this is the kind of conversation that you would want to have with a guy in a podcast.
Yes.
And the debates were so fucking skewed, where they were correcting, like, particularly the Biden one, where they're correcting Trump over and over again, and then correcting Trump with Kamala.
Yes.
Where Kamala was saying things that were patently not true. not only that, she also said that no troops were being deployed in a war zone.
Which is, but I mean, I know troops in war zones. And I'm like, that's, and as vice president, you're privy. You know the official troops and the unofficial troops.
Right.
You know, so what she said was like a flat out bold-faced lie. Next level bold-faced lie.
Have you seen the video?
An absurd lie
of the troops that were watching it take place. And what the fuck are we? They're watching it in real time, making a video.
We're here being shot at.
So crazy.
Crazy.
But it just shows you the level of propaganda that we're being subject to, which is why people think Donald Trump is the devil. Because the machine has gone all out as far as it can go with lawfare, with propaganda, with lies, with just pushing as much in this direction as humanly possible, connecting it to the Nazi rally, like every step of the way. No wonder why boomers are like rabid. Like, you got to keep this Nazi out of office. He's a fascist.
Exactly. If all you get is like if your entire exposure is to legacy mainstream media, so that all your information sources are that. Then, and you have and your friend group is has that same information, you have no countervailing opinion.
Right.
So then they actually just think like Trump is Hitler, even though it's like a little strange he didn't do Hitler things the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, if he's Hitler, why didn't he do Hitler things when he was president for 4 years?
Right.
Like the reason we hate Hitler is because of he started wars and did genocide, not because he was a snappy dresser. You know. And I'm like, so tell me about the wars and genocide that Trump did.
Right.
I don't remember that. And he was president for 4 years.
Right.
So it's insane. It makes no sense.
Well, and also he's campaigning on stopping all the wars.
Yes.
It's like his primary concern.
Exactly. The warmongers like Liz Cheney hate him.
Yeah.
Because they love war.
Well, they profit off of it.
They profit off of war.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is insane.
Insane.
Yeah. And that this is happening right in front of everybody's face.
Yeah, the war profiteers hate Trump.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up. I mean, it's like we should be like, let's vote for the guy that the war profiteers hate. That sounds like a great idea.
It was the wildest thing when Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala and the left went crazy. Like, Dick Cheney's on our side. Like,
yeah, like I'm like, can we play all the videos where he said Dick Cheney was the devil?
The craziest like 180 I've ever seen in my life because there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. No logic to it at all. Just all of a sudden he's the devil.
Yeah.
Or he's not the devil. He's good. He's good. Even Dick Cheney. You know?
I mean, warmongers want the Kamala puppet because then we'll get more war.
It's so strange watching all these Hollywood celebrities like step up, and they think it's going to get them more movies or something. And that's what it is. If you know those people, so many of them are.
I mean, let me tell you, like
narcissists.
Well, let me tell you how it actually works. There is what happens is, you know, these celebrities they get a call. Okay, they get a call from someone powerful in Hollywood, and that person says, you know, it'd be really great if you endorsed Kamala. You don't have to. It's up to you. But if you don't. They don't say it. But if you don't, you're just never going to get a call again. No more movies. No more concerts. But they'll ask it. They're asking in a really nice way. It'd be really nice if you endorse Kamala. This is important.
And so they don't say that if you don't.
They don't make the threat. They don't need to. But everyone knows what'll happen if you don't.
Well, I think there's also, even if they don't think that something's going to happen to them, if they don't, there's this compelling feeling to support this cause that you think is going to get you a bunch of positive attention, and you're going to be on the right side of history, and all these narratives that you, especially from the left in Hollywood, like they're all in on whoever the fuck is the Democrat, always 100%. There's never a call from the Hollywood machine to support any Republicans. Never seen it.
A fair gambit.
So it's like you realize that, and that whole business is based on getting picked. It's the whole business is not necessarily merit based. There's a lot of brilliant actors you never hear from. There's a lot of people who can do that, but they don't get chosen for roles, and everybody knows this. That you have to sort of socialize.
You toe the line, or you don't get chosen for the roles, because there's a lot of competition for the roles. That's why I say, like,
victory shall be our destiny.
When someone powerful in Hollywood who's able to choose these roles calls one of these celebrities, they know the deal.
Yeah.
There's no threat is necessary.
Well, you could see it in real time, like with Dennis Quaid when he made that Reagan movie, and they wouldn't let him advertise on social media platforms.
Yeah.
Like, they were banning ads for it.
Yeah.
For what? Because it was an election year. Like, what are you talking about? It's about a guy who's dead.
Yes.
The guy who was the president a long ass time ago. Like, what do you? How does this have anything to do with the election year?
Yeah.
But it's the punishment. It's like you stepped outside the line. You supported the other guy.
Yeah. The problem is you'll just never get a call again for a movie or concert or whatever it is.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's the issue.
I mean, we used to allow people to be a Republican and still be a movie star, like
Reagan.
Clint Eastwood. Reagan, yeah, but Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Like during the Obama administration, Clint Eastwood was like an outspoken Republican and yet was,
Right.
a giant movie star. And people's like, it's Clint. Yeah, it was allowed. You were allowed to have, there was a variety of different opinions. Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
There was a variety of different opinions you were allowed to have. But now you're not. Now it's just like, and once Trump got into office, he became this focal point where all logic was thrown out the window, and it was just Trump is bad. You have to attack Trump. Trump is right. Right wing's bad. Everyone right wing is bad. Mm-hmm. Christian's bad.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just strange.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I'll say it again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath.
Yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Like there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left wing and they realize I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, man. And, I think the things we want are just pretty basic. It's like we want, individual liberties and we want opportunity. We want America to remain the land of freedom and opportunity. So we maximize people's personal freedom. The government can't barge into your house and kill your fucking pet. That's fucked up. And that you succeed as a function of your hard work and talent, not anything else, not race, religion, sex, doesn't matter.
Yes,
the basic stuff. And then
what did you change the acronym DEI? What did you change it to?
Oh, DIE.
What is it?
Die. I mean, because diversity, inclusion, and equity is DIE.
But didn't you change it to like dedication, excellence, and
yeah. I mean, we want America. America being the land of opportunity means that we have an environment where you succeed as a function of your hard work and skill.
Yes.
And that's
radical. Radical. Like the best person succeeds.
This makes you right wing now.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. Pull me right wing. I don't care. So and you're not a real country unless you have secure borders.
No,
it's a fake country. So we need, and our cities are unsafe and dirty. My mom was telling me, my mom's like pretty red pilled at this point, but you know what's going to red pill you really really fast is having your friends get assaulted on the streets of New York.
Yeah.
And that happened to 3 of our friends this year. You got assaulted on the streets of New York, just walking around.
Yeah.
Nobody got arrested. Nothing happened.
Well, the morale of the police is like depleted.
Yeah,
substantially.
For sure, the morale of the police gets depleted, and then also like at some point, like if you're a police officer and you're arresting someone who's violent, you're putting your life at risk, obviously, because they might, sometimes they'll try to kill you. And then if you know that arresting this violent person, they will be immediately released by the DA, which happens in New York. Alvin Bragg doesn't prosecute people. Then why should a police officer put their life at risk to arrest someone when they know they will not be? They will just be let out immediately. Yeah, it's pointless.
Yeah,
it's like the friggin' Joker. It's like Dark Knight. Like the friggin' Joker is in charge.
Yeah,
like the criminals run free, and the citizens are arrested. That this is why I keep going back to this. I'm still pretty shook about the friggin' squirrel thing. It's like, they at gunpoint forced the guy to stay outside his house while they got his pets and killed them. Meanwhile, violent felons are running free, and this is in New York State, are running free. This is a Joker.
Yeah, it's not.
The law-abiding citizens are arrested and the criminals are let free. This is fucked up, guys.
Just the fact that they have the resources to do that when they have all the crime that they have.
What do you want?
You have the resources, the government resources to go kill someone's squirrel.
Yeah.
What this whole idea of this
I can hear you just fine.
government efficiency agency.
The government, yeah. I mean, call it whatever you want. But
What do you want to call it? What do you call it?
I mean, I think the funniest name is DOG, the Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah, I mean, the idea is pretty simple. Is that like we've got this suffocating, massive federal bureaucracy, and we need to, that is, and the government spending is like bankrupting the country. Our interest payments on the national debt now exceed the budget.
No, you
Which is that's $1 trillion a year. The interest payments on the national debt are now higher than the defense department budget, and growing like every month. So it's like it's not like basically we're on a path to bankruptcy. America's on a path to bankruptcy. So we have to cut government spending, or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a person would with that overspending. And then. But it's even worse than that. Like we're spending money on all these, like these government agencies, and I actually asked the AI like how many government agencies are there, and the government isn't even sure how many government agencies there are. Like so it's like somewhere around 450, depending on what you call an agency. So there are at the federal level. So that's almost twice as many agencies as years that America has existed. So we're creating agencies at roughly 2 agencies a year.
Wow.
Yes. So this is insane. I bet there's like, I wonder if there's even one person who could even name all the 450 agencies at the federal level. There might be no one. But it's hardly anyone, let's just say. I bet most people couldn't even name like 100, So this is crazy. So we've got this vast suffocating federal bureaucracy that just gets bigger every year, and it eventually you get to the point where everything's illegal. You can't get anything done. So
what can be done? Like with obviously the president has a lot of power, but how much power, and what can be done in terms of like eliminating agencies, eliminating waste, eliminating?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so. If Congress has created an agency, then often if you look at the law is like pretty simple. Like the agency has like a very simple task, but then that agency over time vastly increases its authority and starts doing things that were never authorized by Congress. That's happened with pretty much every agency. So yeah, you'd have to still keep an agency. You'd have to match the law. But you can curtail the agencies to be much smaller and say you got to stick to what Congress authorized instead of all this other stuff you're doing, which I think makes sense.
And so is the other stuff they're doing just essentially bureaucracy run amok, or they just create jobs and create things to do and create a meaning for their existence?
Yeah, it's like a tumor; it's just going to keep growing.
Jesus Christ!
And it's. So, I mean, as for SpaceX, Starship was sitting on the pad, the rocket, this giant rocket. We could build the rocket faster than they could process the paperwork to approve the launch. So we're sitting there for 2 months.
But do you think that they're doing that on purpose to fuck with you?
I mean, maybe a little, but I mean, that would also not be cool. But another way to think of it is like the amount of paperwork is going to go roughly with the square of the number of agencies involved. So because they all have to meet with each other. So like let's say in the best case situation, if you've got like if there's like if you're dealing with one agency, that's one thing. But if you've got to deal with 5 agencies and the agencies all have to meet with each other, now you've got like 25 different meeting configurations that have to take place. It just everything just you get just hardening of the arteries. You just can't make progress. Like this is why we can't build high speed rail in America. It's basically illegal.
Right. So this has been the argument has always been that we need regulation because we need to protect the environment, we need to protect people, we need to make sure the rule of law is followed. So we need a certain amount of regulation. But over-regulation is a giant problem. That's a big issue in California.
Yes.
It's a huge issue anywhere where bureaucracy has run amok. They make it very difficult to get anything done.
Yes. I mean, what happens is every year there are more rules and regulations created. And in the past, what has served as a cleansing function for rules and regulations is war. It's like, you're like, well, we're going to lose if we don't kind of clear the decks. But we haven't really had an existential threat of war in the U.S. We've had prosperity for a long time, which has resulted in a massive buildup of rules and regulations every year. And to the point where, like I said, like everything's illegal. You know, and it's not like any one regulation is the problem. It's like Gulliver being tied down by a million little strings. It's not like any one string is the problem, but you got a million of them.
If that is your will.
We've got to clear the decks here. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have regulators. I'm just saying we've gone way too far. Once you think of regulators like referees on a field, you know, a sports field. You don't want to have no refs. You want to have some number of refs, but you don't want to have way more refs than players.
Right.
You don't want to be like, well, you know, the running back couldn't complete the pass because there were too many regulators in the way because the football field's full of regulators.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can't even play the game.
Right.
That's the issue we've got right now.
Well, that's a great analogy. Yeah, I can imagine a football field that's filled with referees.
It's just like the football field's filled with refs, you know.
Yeah, you can't even run past them.
Yeah.
I shall follow your strength.
I've seen criticism of this idea of you coming up with this department of like firing a bunch of people and what would happen and how would that work. But the criticism doesn't make any sense to me because if you can prove that there's a lot of wasted time and resources, which I think is pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
And if you could say that this is not the most efficient, like the most efficient businesses are generally private businesses or a company, because they kind of have to be in order to stay profitable. The government doesn't have to be
Destiny
profitable.
awaits.
They don't have to be efficient. They don't have competition.
Yep.
So if you're making cars and your cars break down, they suck, and someone makes cars and the cars are better, they're going to succeed. So this is the free market. The government doesn't have this problem when they're in charge of certain things that could probably be better served by the public, by the private sector.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I just think we've got far too many government agencies. The federal bureaucracy has gotten out of hand, and we just need to pare it down to a sensible level. And if it turns out that like there's some regulation or agency that was doing something useful, we can put it right back. No problem. Like it's like, oh, that regulation was important. No problem. We'll put it right back.
Right, as long as we actually know. Right,
Yeah.
but be able to look at it logically and objectively.
Yeah.
And you were also floating around the idea of offering a large severance to the people that you're going to have removed.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, these are, again, just ideas, but I mean, it's the point is not that people suffer economic hardship. The point is just that there are more productive things they can do in the economy, and it would be better if they did these other more productive things, and we didn't have this vast federal bureaucracy. So I was like, maybe like a couple of years of pay would be good. And then they could take a vacation. They could take another job and get double pay. I mean, it's not going to create an economic crisis. I think it's actually going to be really good. I think because people can move to where they're making products and services that are more useful to their fellow human beings.
The problem is if someone has like a 25, 30-year career of being institutionalized, you're essentially like a part of the government system. You've sort of programmed your life and your career to be a part of this bureaucratic system. And then you're like, nope, you have to go out and compete in the free market. You're like, That's scary to people. But you have to be valuable. You have to actually be valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll still get wherever the government pension and stuff. They're not going to be, in tough. I think they'll be in good financial shape.
How are you going to have the time to oversee all this shit?
Well, I'm pretty good at improving efficiency.
It is you again.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But still, this seems like a giant undertaking.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll probably need to beef up security.
Oh yeah,
It is you again.
yeah, for sure.
But like I said, like no one's going to experience I think economic hardship. That's they'll be fine. And they'll people do find other roles. I mean, you can look at sort of like when East Germany and West Germany got back together. Everyone was basically working for the government in East Germany, and it was really inefficient. And that like their economic output was like in East Germany was like a quarter of what it was in West Germany because everyone was working for the government. And the government's like fundamentally inefficient. So
the best example is probably North and South Korea, right?
yeah, South Korea is incredibly costly.
Yeah.
So and it's the same people, just different operating systems.
Right.
So it's just like you just want to move people from less productive things to more productive things. Where they make because you can also say like in the limit, like let's just say let's consider the other direction where we moved a whole bunch of people that were in the private sector making goods and services, and we moved them into the government as regulators. Now they stopped making those goods and services, so the stuff they were making is no longer available. Now they're just being regulators. Like, is that a good thing? That's not a good thing.
Doesn't sound good.
No, it's not good.
Doesn't sound like there's a real market for it. Like you're creating jobs that don't necessarily need to be there.
There are all these fake jobs, basically, and that doesn't make sense. So, look, we got to do this because the country's going bankrupt. Like, if we don't take action, our dollar's going to be worth nothing, and the interest payments, which are already 23% of 23% of all government income, income taxes, tariffs, and everything, is just going to pay interest right now. And that number is continually rising. So if we don't do something, the entire government budget will be paying interest. There won't be money for anything. No, there won't be money for Social Security. There won't be money for Medicare, nothing. That's where we're headed. That's what bankruptcy means.
I am yours.
Yeah, that's such an
command
insane
as you
concept.
desire.
Yes. It's like, hello, wake up. Wake up.
Something you need.
And if somebody can tell me, can show me, like, pencil out the math and show me how this works, I'd love to hear it. But I'm just like, listen, I'm looking at the numbers here, and if we don't do something, there won't be money for anything.
Trump likes to talk about a lot is tariffs.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on tariffs? I know that's very controversial to
I
even
do not
people,
care much for being
economists.
prodded all the time.
They disagree. Some agree. Some think it's a good idea. Some think it's a terrible idea. What do you think?
I think you need to be careful with tariffs. I deal a lot with like supply chain issues. Like the global automotive supply chain for Tesla, for example, is incredibly complex. So when there are sudden changes in tariffs, then you're like, well, we've got a factory like somewhere else that's making a part that goes into the car. Now that suddenly, if that part's suddenly twice as expensive, it like messes everything up. So you want to be have tariffs be predictable. So that companies can adjust their supply chain. I mean, I think companies are more than happy to increase manufacturing in America. It's just that you can't do it instantly. So if you put up giant tariffs immediately and don't give companies a chance to build factories in America, because you got to move atoms. Like you've got to build a building, you've got to install equipment, you've got to train people. Like that doesn't happen instantly. So you just got you want to have for tariffs. You want to have a ramp so that companies can adjust and build the factories and train the people and get the equipment in place. Otherwise, you basically just shock the system and it breaks or bad things happen. So I'm against like sudden giant tariffs because it's an impossible response if you've got to move 1,000 tons of equipment. You can just, in some cases, collectively millions of tons of equipment. You just can't do that overnight. It's literally impossible. So I think we want to be thoughtful about tariffs and give companies a ramp. I mean, I do generally agree that America should do more manufacturing. I'm a big manufacturing guy. I love manufacturing.
We've talked openly about the difficulties of manufacturing, how complicated it is, and about most people aren't really aware of something that's as complex as, like, say, building a Tesla.
Yeah, manufacturing is super hard, complicated. So, like a lot of people just they've never been in a factory or they don't know how it is to make things, and they a lot of people who just catch up from the store, like the store just has like for a lot of people or for all these like sort of socialist communist types, like they've never actually made anything, so they're operating on the premise that there's this magical horn of plenty that just outputs goods and services, and if someone's got more goods and services than someone else's because they took more from this magical horn of plenty, I'm like, guys, there's no magical horn of plenty. There's no cornucopia. It's actually goods and services come from people working collectively, doing a lot of hard work to produce the goods and services that you like, and that you need.
This sparrow is ready to fly.
We've become very accustomed to these things happening overseas.
I mean, America is still the second biggest manufacturer in the world. So we'll make a lot of stuff, but
Yes, it is.
we could make more. We probably should make more.
It would be very nice if we were completely self-sufficient. Medicine, there's a bunch of different things that get manufactured overseas. It was a huge problem during COVID because all the shipping was shut down.
Yeah, I mean, you want to say so. There's a lot of merit to the economics of comparative advantage. So, if you're completely self-sufficient, what that means is that you make all the stuff yourself, and even if some other country is really good at making stuff, you still make it yourself, which means you're going to have the inferior, more costly product domestically.
Right. Like Soviet Russia.
Am I Raven?
Yeah. Like trade improves prosperity. This is important. So you don't actually want to make everything yourself. And you can run this, like you can think of this thought experiment on a sort of a micro scale or small scale, and then expand that and say at what point does the thought experiment go on? Now let's consider the case of you as an individual. Imagine you have to do everything yourself. You have to farm, you have to grow chickens, you've got to want eggs, you've got to build your own house, you've got to do your own electrical repair, your own plumbing, everything yourself. Everything. Now that would be impossible. Okay, now let's expand it to, there's 10 people. Now you're going to have some specialization of tasks. Okay, well, maybe one person could be really good at, construction, another person could be good at farming. It's like, but still, 10 people is not enough. So let's go to 100 people. Now let's go to 100 million people. Now let's go to 1 billion people. And you still get the economics of specialization, like specialization of labor, where people become expert at particular things, still matters at 1 billion people, or at 8 billion people, which is Earth. So you still want, you do want specialization of labor. You do want countries to be really good at a particular thing.
Also, it encourages innovation if you have competition. If the Germans are making better cars, we have to make better cars to compete with them, which is like one of the things that happened during like the 80s and 90s, and America was making crap cars and Germany was making much better ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Japanese car, basically the American car industry got really lazy in the 70s and 80s, and then the Japanese and German car companies came in and just cleaned the clock. There was like an old joke from that is kind of telling. It's a very old joke where it's like, why did the Japanese car companies beat the American car companies? In the Japanese car company, you had 8 people rowing and 1 person steering. And in the American car company, you had 8 people steering and 1 person rowing. If this was a boat. So imagine the boat race.
Yeah.
Boat race, the Japanese boat, you got 8 people rowing, 1 person steering. In the American boat, you got 1 person rowing and 8 people steering.
Red and a red cheek mate,
when the American car company loses the race, they fire the rower. And it's like, okay, that was actually kind of true.
Yeah,
everyone wants to be the boss, and none of everyone wants to do the work.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of people are concerned about is the potential disruption that's going to come about with automation and AI. That a lot of these jobs, manufacturing jobs, Teamsters, all that stuff, is going to be eliminated. You're at the forefront of this. So how do you see this playing out, and what do you think that can be done to mitigate a lot of the loss of purpose that a lot of people are going to feel, loss of income. Obviously, universal basic income is being floated about, but that seems to me to only be part of the problem. Another big part of the problem is people losing a sense of purpose.
Yeah, and now we're talking about something which is still pretty far in the future.
How far do you think it is?
Victory shall be ours.
Well, I mean, it's probably 15, 20 years, I would think. So we've got like immediate issues. We've got short-term issues that are 1 to 3 years. Medium-term issues like 5 to 10 years. Longer-term issues which are maybe 20 years. Longer term, I think there is this question: if you have AI and robotics, how do you find meaning in life? If the computer can do everything better than you can, and the robot can do everything better than you can. But we're still, we've got a long way to go before that. And I do think it's like 80% likely to be a good outcome, like maybe 90. So I think everyone's going to have their own like personal robot, like, and I think at some point, like, wouldn't you want to have your own personal C-3PO or R2-D2?
So it's going to be essentially just like everyone has their own phone.
Yeah, everyone will have their own robot gun. Like literally.
Well, it would be great if it protected you. Like if you walk down the street of New York City, you have a Terminator with you.
I know. Hopefully, we got to avoid. We don't want this to be the plot of James Cameron. You know, we want more Gene Roddenberry than James Cameron movie situation.
But it would be fascinating to watch some rich person walk down the street of New York City, flanked by 2 giant Tesla robots, Jack Tesla robots that were there to protect you. Yeah,
just fully robots.
Somebody fully robot there to protect you from a bad neighborhood.
Yeah,
that would be very interesting. You can potentially see that. Yeah. Restaurants probably have no robot rules. You can't bring a robot.
Yeah, leave
a robot outside. The robot standing by the table.
Yeah, the future's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be wild. Yeah. It's gonna be really unpredictable. Like, I don't think, I mean, you probably have a pretty good sense of it, but I think most people don't understand the wave that's coming.
Yeah.
And it's gonna kind of completely drown society and change it forever.
I mean, we have, like I said, it's not going to happen like overnight, but it's 20 years from now. I'm like, I think actually like 20 years from now, I think there's going to be more humanoid robots than there are humans.
Real?
Yeah.
More humanized. Well, that's so crazy. Like, so that's like more guns. We have more guns than people in America. We'll have more robots than people in America as well.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of old robots nobody wants anymore.
Yes. early versions or something.
In a historical timeline, 20 years in the past has not been that big of a deal. You know, I mean, it's a big deal, but you go from like 1900, 1920, not that big of a deal. 1920, 1940, kind of a big deal. 1940, 1960, things start getting weird. 60 to 80, wow, that's a big difference. 80 to 2000, holy shit, now you have the internet. 2000 to 2020, whoa, this is nuts. You have propaganda, social media, YouTube, streaming. 20 years from now, like, what are we even talking about? It's going to be that much of a shift. Like, it's all accelerating. And we're in the middle of it, so it's very difficult to sort of, like, feel it while it's happening. Because it kind of just feels like life. And you just get adapted to the changes.
Yeah. I mean, people's phones at this point are a supercomputer in their pocket that can argue and answer any questions if people take it for granted.
It's normal. They get mad if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like Louis C.K.'s joke about using your phone when you're on a plane. Fucking piece of shit. You're in the sky. You're floating in the air.
And that will work with Starlink.
What's that?
It will work with Starlink.
Yes.
The Starlink connection.
Well, I was telling you how I used Starlink when I was in Utah. I was in the mountains of Utah. There was no cell phone service anywhere near. And we had full YouTube. We had text messages, FaceTime, everything, phone calls. It was nuts. And it was it's this big as that cigar box.
Yep.
Shaw
It's crazy.
guides my
It's so light. When I brought it out there, like, that's it, or this is it. Just
Yeah.
plug it in. And the guys I was in camp with were like, this is crazy. The whole camp was sharing it. So like 10 people
Yeah.
using the Wi-Fi signal for it. It's nuts. And then, you know, that's the beginning. I mean, what you're at right now is like what version? This is Starlink Uni, right? So this is like a very small version. How much smaller can it scale down from that?
Well, the area that you need, like the bigger the area, the more you can, like your
Higher the bandwidth.
Yeah, because you're like trying to catch the
Skullbreaker!
think of like the area of the is the more area you have, the more photons you can catch. But we have a direct-to-cell capability as well, and we've been launching that. We'll turn on probably in a few months. That'll actually connect directly to a cell phone. But because the cell phone is a much worse antenna than the other, it'll be about 100 times less bandwidth. Still, you'll be able to do text messages, pictures, like medium resolution videos, that kind of thing.
One of the cool things about the new phone, the new iPhone, the iPhone 16, I got it and I was in the mountains last month and I was text messaging with satellites.
Yeah.
iMessages.
Right.
And receiving.
But just text.
Yeah, just text.
Yeah.
But still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are we going to be looking at 100 years from now? I mean, when you...
100 years from now, I hope civilization's around. Yeah, that'll be a win.
Yeah.
Victory shall be ours.
What did
Thy will be done.
That we fucked this whole thing up.
Destiny awaits.
50%?
I do not care
hard to say.
about being prodded all the time.
I guess not. Like, I don't think civilization will be totally destroyed unless
Just as I
it's really lasting nuclear war. Stephen Hawking said there's at least 1% chance of total annihilation in every century. That was his rough estimate. But there's a much bigger chance of civilization being less capable than it is today. So you say, like, well, because you look at, say, well, these various civilizations throughout history, whether it's like ancient
This sparrow is
Sumerians,
ready to fly. At your command, of
Egyptians,
course.
Romans, like there's like a life cycle of civilization. They reached a peak and then they started subsiding. So I think a bigger question is like, well, will our technology level be better or worse than it is today in 100 years? I think it's probably going to be better. I think any estimates are going to be there's so many dependencies. Like an estimate, I think is, I'm not sure it has any meaning, but it's just like there's so many things that can happen in 100 years.
The logical hope is always that people pay attention to history and they recognize the patterns and how civilizations have collapsed, and they recognize what's going wrong and say, we have to do our best to mitigate this, and we've seen this happen before. Let's course correct and let's sort of manage what we've got here now and maintain what we've got here now, because it's pretty extraordinary. This is what we're hoping for with this election. This is what we're hoping for with the future, is that people can see we are on a bad path and something can be done right now, and it might be the only moment in history where this is possible. Because if they do, they lock the country down and make it so that voting is kind of bullshit. You're only voting for primaries, and the people that they put in the primaries, they're controlling that in the first place. You don't really have democracy anymore. You don't really have choice.
Exactly.
You don't really have freedom.
That's right. Yeah, I think freedom is fundamentally at stake in the election tomorrow. We'll know. I think we'll know by the end of the day tomorrow. I don't think it's going to take. It's not going to be like days after the election. I think we'll know tomorrow.
Are you optimistic?
I am currently optimistic, but the biggest factor here is that men need to vote. That is the biggest issue.
As you desire.
So
Be quick with it. Best be paid well for
I don't
this.
know what the reason is, but men just vote at a much lower rate than women.
I think it's like 9%, right? Someone just told me that today.
It's a big difference. I'm just like saying, this is a message to the men out there. vote like your life depends on it, because I think it does. Vote tomorrow like your life depends on it. Nothing is more important.
I agree.
Yeah.
Listen, man, thank you for being here. I know you're busy as fuck, so I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
And again, I thank you so much for buying Twitter, because I really do believe that you've changed the course of history. I really do think you've created a pathway where people can actually express themselves and actually exchange information that really didn't exist before. And I think it was dangerous.
It is dangerous. Hopefully I live long enough to see my kids grow up and people on Mars.
That would be cool.
That's all I'm asking for here.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Welcome, Wise Chat. It is Monday, October 28th, 2024. Hope you're doing well. Hope your case of the Mondays ain't too bad. Hopefully you had some sort of Halloween celebration over the weekend to ease the pain. Michael will be with us in just a moment. Go ahead, get cozy, like that stream, and let us know if you're watching in a costume. Be with you soon. Lean hard, Eddie. Lean hard. Sandhill, I was kind of surprised they chose Madden. They should have gone with Crazy Taxi. Yeah, good luck, Tunnel Rat and Eddie. I know it's rough out there right now. Welcome, Victoria.
Ustanza don't trust us for the foolish and the dead.
Okay, October 28th. Some people have already started celebrating Halloween. Here's my theory of Halloween. You know, I participate in a culture
Yes.
that some people don't like and find obnoxious. That involves costumes, that involves, you know, vaguely satanic rituals.
I am yours to
that involves
command.
mystical gatherings. And that is, you know, Grateful Dead culture. And I'll just say this. I have a lot of people in my life that are like, okay, Michael, I know that you're dead. That's cool for you. It's not for me, but, you know, you do your thing.
What?
And I'll be honest,
Is
that's
there
how
a
I feel
quipping
about
about?
Halloween. You know, it's the time of the year where I look at you all
Fate
as a
beckons
bunch
us
of
all.
good-natured deadheads, thinking to myself,
Readier than a
I don't
red
get
cheeked
it.
maiden, my
But you know
friend.
what? It makes them happy,
Shaw
and
guides
it
my
doesn't hurt me. So why not? You know, that's where I'm at with all this. So I hope if you
Victory
are,
shall be ours.
you know, a participant in spooky culture, that you have a fun time. You know? But also, it's not for me, and you have to accept that. You know, you can't be mad at me because I don't like wearing costumes. You know,
Is it?
can't be mad at me because I don't necessarily love spooky content. You know, you can't be mad at me for that. You're not allowed to. You're
Don't
not allowed
yell.
to.
I can hear you just
So-
fine.
That's where I'm at with that. Another thing I'll tell you as we get going, I was driving to the studio this morning. I'm normally not here on Mondays, but we're filming 2 videos this week. Why are we filming 2 videos? Oh, do we have a second channel? We have a second channel that's launching, that's technically already launched, but is the first video coming out on Halloween? Holy shit.
What?
Douglas.
Oh my god. And is it a video
Yes, Bill.
produced and, you know, edited over by producer Henry, but a video that's spooky in so much is it's about eating the rich, consuming the flesh of the ruling class. Maybe, guys, but that comes out on Thursday. And we're filming another video for that channel this week as well. But a thing, yeah, it would be great to hit 666 today, but we could on Wednesday as well. But we talked before about how there's like smart, dumb people and dumb, smart people. And I'm a smart, dumb person. And, you know, I had this thought. It relates to the election. I'll share this before too many people
I
get
serve
here,
Shar above
'cause then I'll
all
get in
others,
trouble.
but I
But,
shall
like,
remain with you for now.
Here's the issue. The issue is that you should not define yourself as a Republican, Democrat, or an independent or whatever. You should decide as adults, as thoughtful adults, what are the sort of political axioms and principles that are important to you, and then you should evaluate candidates, parties, and policies on the basis of those principles. And here's why I say that, because
How long do you intend to
You
crack
know,
your whip on my back? I say we stop now.
if one of the people wins, I want to phrase this carefully.
Something you need.
Oh man, here's all I'll say.
Just get spicy with it. Just it's
I'll get
Monday.
spicy, okay?
Wake people
I'm gonna
up.
say this
get the-
genuinely.
Jon Johnson,
in
at your
sort of the
service.
Sophie's choice of the upcoming election,
Do not care how
I
much you're
obviously
being
think
prodded
it
all
would
the
be better if you are handsome. If Kamala Harris won. But if Kamala Harris wins, I will likely say things like, I think this is a horrible politician with no real values or principles, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, everyone said good vibes to Ian and his wife taking a straight forward to cosmetology. That's freaking go.
This
But,
sparrow
like,
is ready to fly.
If I were to
Command,
post-election
course.
critique Kamala Harris, one might be like, but just at least one of our guys won. At least one of, and I would just be like, you know, because my principles involve, you know, forms of radical equality and egalitarianism, a prioritization of people over profits and corporate interest, a priority of, you know, teachers, nurses, public servants over crypto financiers, you know, prioritization of the life of all children over the benefit of some, all those sorts of things. And I think that, like, that is all based in saying that I am not, you know, I don't identify as a Democrat or whatever. It's just like, have some principles. And this leads to all this infighting. People are like, you know, there's a video that came out this weekend of a Harris supporter. And again, this is not indicative of all people that actively support Kamala Harris. This is one person who did a thing, and it's not fair to, you know, extrapolate too much. But a grown woman, this clip's all over Twitter, screamed at a child, the little kid looked 3 or 4, and she said, I don't give a fuck about God's children, or something. Pretty, yeah, it was really bad. But, you know, like, we don't need to act like that. You know what I mean? It's not a good way to act. You know, Sean in the chat said our town hall dancers are abysmal. And it's one of those things where, like, we should be able to analyze those things. And this is, and someone else in the chat said, pixel mirror. The answers are abysmal, but they are answers. That's literally how low the bar is. Yeah, and I think that's important. You know,
Laser Joe, before the show started, was asking in the chat about social apathy and how to overcome it, and that does make me wonder, like, just like, is this what we accept as far as cold bars?
Yeah. You know, and again, like,
You sound like Golodon.
you guys all deserve better. You know? Like, you all deserve public figures and politicians who talk to you like an adult and who answer questions and who don't just operate in talking points and all that sort of stuff. You know? Yeah, you know, and as he always does, Mav kind of puts this very clearly marked out. Because I'd love to not support Harris Democrats basically ensuring for a day when we're not forced to beg people to vote for fair and minimum community. Yeah, it feels bad.
Victory, I shall follow
And the
your
older you
strength.
get, the worse it feels. And I say that as probably the second oldest person participating in this stream. Shout out to everybody. And as always, please subscribe to Vox Podcast. If you do not, that's Matt's show. It's really great. I've never listened to it and not had a nice time.
Talking about killer dolls this week, so check in on it.
Oh,
Destiny awaits.
okay, so our main topic today is we're going to watch into this Peterson video where he analyzes the Trump cadre of heroes via personality types and also X-Men stuff. We did a video on personality types Friday. I do want to say this. There's some comments, and I'm trying to go through them. Damn it, Nathaniel. Damn it, Maeve. Guys,
Yes.
I just want to be old. I want to be old like you. I don't want to be a little boy anymore.
Don't yell.
But,
I can hear you
there's
just fine.
I just lost it for a second. There's a bunch of comments and debates on the personality test video. If any of you know about this, and some of you left comments, God damn it, I just want to be old. I want to be the biggest boy. Some of you are people who commented, and you're people that know about psychology, or there's people who are like, oh, I have a PhD in psychology, yada, yada, yada. And you said we biffed some shit in the video. I would love to hear more.
Redder than a red-cheeked maiden, my friend.
God, I'm forgetting who it is right now, but someone who is often in this chat, I can't believe I'm forgetting your name right now, left a comment about this as well. What's up, Nikos? You can have a shout out, dog. Why not? But yeah, there's some comments that basically said we got some stuff wrong, and my vibe is that I want to hear that. So please let me know in general. Like, I want to learn and listen if we did get some stuff wrong, and we're always going to get stuff wrong. We're just people. We're just people. I want to know. So in the chat, but maybe if you ever want to hit us up at wisecracklive666@gmail.com. We're always looking at your emails there. We're always looking at even the ones you don't send. We're looking at because we're crazy like that. Let's see. Okay, so we got some stuff to recommend too. Got some good videos coming as you guys are soon. Excited about that. Reminder as always, we have a coffee partner over here. That's coffee. What happened? It got weird. Coffee partners, Yes Please Coffee. They're based in Los Angeles. They're a local coffee roaster. They're 4 people who run it. The way I like to think of it is so many products that get pushed on this website and podcast and shit like that. They're weird, like fake, glorified dropshipping companies started by, C-level tech or finance bros that just serve you crap. And then when the host talks about them, they're just saying that the copy they gave them to read. I get it. The game is the game, players. But right now I'm playing the game because this shit is my life. And Yes Please Coffee is real coffee made by real people who I've met and hung out with. We've reached out to them. I like them very much. They don't pay us money to talk about their coffee. We get a tiny percentage if you order it with our code, which is Wisecrack, to get you 20% off. So please do consider checking out Yes Please Coffee. We have our coffee contest as well. I'll talk more about that later. Check out this coffee if you need the coffee, and I think you need the coffee. And other like cool partnership stuff. We have a thing with Verso Books where you use the code Wisecrack to get 50% off of our reading list. So consider checking that out as well. And now a trigger warning.
Victory shall be ours.
Well, I don't want to make that. That sounded like I was about trigger warnings. I understand that trigger warnings are like a real thing. Someone said Bears fan. Are we talking about? We can't talk about the Bears right now. What happened yesterday was terrible. Bales, if you're talking about what I'm talking about, I feel like I'm 100 years old after that horrible thing that happened. But we won't talk about it. We can't talk about sports here. BP is on the Peterson diet, lost 50 pounds, eating only Peterson word salad. So here is, a slightly unfair schedule. Some of you get really mad when we talk about Jordan Peterson, and I respect that and I get it. Just don't watch from here on out, because we're going to start watching Peterson. And I don't want you to feel like, Sean, I love the blend is always good, but then the single origin thing is always bonkers good. But I do pour over, so I
Red and a red-cheeked maiden, my friend.
Yeah, if you hate Peterson, if you hate us talking about Peterson, if you think we're platforming him, if you're trying to live in a world of positivity where you don't want to hear some of the worst people in the talk about brain-dead stuff, please leave and do something better. I'll give you something to do. If you want to consume content right now, and you're mad that we're talking about head over to the Why Daily podcast hosted by Todd McGowan. Listen to one of their recent episodes. The most recent one is on Hegel, and it's really good, explaining the concept of Aufheben. It's a German word. I know sometimes you hear a German word and you think, is that a bad word? But it's fine. But I'm just letting you know that, okay? So we're going to watch this video. It's a psychological analysis.
I shall be glad to rest.
This YouTube video cannot be played directly on Watch TV. Why does it keep doing this? Hold on. Install browser extension? God damn it, guys. Let me try again, because this happened another time and I reloaded and it worked. What the fuck? What the fuck? No!
Weird.
This YouTube video cannot be played directly by Watch TV uploader. Your sync played this video in a separate window using our browser extension. Follow the instructions below.
Congratulations, Mr.
I really hate this. Copy the link, paste the link.
What browser are you using?
Safari. I think I should do
try. Yeah, if you can try it in Chrome, see if that affects things.
Okay. Wow, guys, I'm really sorry. I know you pay good money for this show, and I'm sorry that you have to watch this unprofessional shit go down. You deserve better, and I'm really sorry. And you deserve better than hearing me do the thing. You know, it's just like everything sucks. I'm really pissed off. If you're still here,
yeah, Chrome or Firefox, see if either works.
In the meantime, Henry, what's up with you?
You
watch anything, do anything, hear anything, think about anything?
Actually, yeah, I've been doing some catch up on 2024 movies. I really enjoyed Maxine and The Shadow Strays over the weekend. I've also been playing Silent Hill 2. I don't really go for costumes during Halloween season, but I do tilt myself towards like spooky games, spooky movies.
And we respect it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been doing that and also getting some work in order. So I'm not going to be here in about 3 weeks, but we'll have some fun when I get back.
I know everyone just started crying when they said that. I guess the good thing about the fact that you're going to not be here for a bit is that when you do come back, it's going to feel really nice. You know what I mean? Like an absence makes art go wonders. So at least we got that. So that's a cool thing. Okay, Chrome is starting to open. Wow.
I am
sorry in the chat if you have to sit through this. Although I'm kind of not sorry, because sometimes I tuned into some like popular streams last week, and I would say a lot of the really popular streams have a lot more downtime. You know, where people kind of are just sitting there clicking stuff.
You haven't ran off to go to the bathroom yet, yeah.
No, well, it's because I had my piss bucket underneath. And Porkins actually sent me a slop bucket, and I feel bad because Porkins, wrote a note and it was like, "This is a slop bucket. It's just for slop, and it's just for eating." And then I realized that the slop bucket the Porkins sent would be really good as like a piss bucket, and I have used it for pissing. So I understand at this point, legally, Porkins can find and execute me. So I'm sorry. An example.
Seeing more movie shout-outs in the chat as well. Some Maxine opinions. Late Night with the Devil. You know what? It's been an
Late Night with the Devil good?
I did not enjoy it much at all, both because of its use of AI, but also don't know. It was trying to split the difference between having an empathetic protagonist, but also punishing them, and that's supposed to be scary. But it brings to mind, Maxine was making me think this too. It's been an interesting year for Satanism at the movies. I think both Maxine and the first Omen have done real good stuff with like using the satanic panic and like Christian anxieties to make really effective horror movies. And then I think Late Night with the Devil and Longlegs kind of use Satanism in this kind of ironic, crutchy kind of shortcut way. It's interesting to me. I think that even not being like a super faithful Christian person, you can wrench horror out of some of the thematics of the faith, and it's a matter of like if the movie's like universe takes it sincere. And yeah, Late Night with the Devil was kind of weird to me in the sense that it was like, oh, the devil's scary, but like in a very like amusement park kind of hands-off way that I don't know. There's a weird metatextual sort of thing going on with Satanism at the movies right now, where like some movies are using it quite effectively, but others it's kind of like I don't know, are you supposed to be laughing at it? Like, is it like a tongue-in-cheek, like, ha ha, the devil made me do it, kind of we're all chuckling at it because it's supposed to be hammy? I don't know. It's been an interesting year for Satanism at the movies, is all we'll say.
Yeah, I'm going to make another sort of cultural comment as we get going, as I try to get this watch together. Hold up. I see, and I think I'm going to say this. Agatha all along has been fun. It's not, God damn it. Hold on, I need like the code again to get into watch together. I think I still have it.
I'm kind of curious about Agatha. I might check it out once all the episodes drop just to see. I've been following Denise Camp's run on the Ultimates this year, Marvel Comics The Ultimates. It's an alternate universe take on the Avengers. It's way more radical than I was expecting, and I'm loving it. You know, they're all terrorists fighting against the state.
Love it.
Yeah, the next issue is going to center around Luke Cage, quoting Angela Davis. It's like critical of the prison industrial complex. Definitely check out Denise Camp's run on the Ultimates if you have not yet. I'm always sharing stuff from it in the Wisecrack Discord.
I'm going to press play. Let's see if it works now on my end.
I knew him only at that point as a self-promoting.
Okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to go back. I'm going to 1.25 this bitch. So get ready for that. Just a couple other comments before we get going. One, yeah, Agatha's been genuinely fun for what it is.
I shall follow your strength.
Other comment, I don't know if y'all saw this. This is more of a cultural comment, and we can talk more about this later, maybe on Wednesday. Trump had this big rally at Madison Square Garden yesterday. He's one of the candidates for president here in America. And there's a bunch of like comedians and stuff who were there. One of them was Tony Hinchcliffe, the guy that does Kill Tony. You know, a big part of like the roast world. I'm gonna blow my nose. It's gonna be gross. Plug your ears if that's gonna freak you out. And Hinchcliffe said a bunch of like racist jokes and stuff. And all it made me think was like, I miss when the whole thing for Republicans was like family values and no cussing, you know? And now they're just like, I don't know. Someone else to think about. I think it's one of those things where if Trump doesn't win, I'll stop thinking about it. If he does win, I'm going to want to do like a big project looking at cultural aesthetics and politics. So let's watch this Peterson video. Again, here's your point to tap out. If you don't like Peterson, if you want to tap out, ask for suggestions for some other content to watch in the comments. If you're going to tap out and you didn't watch it on Wednesday, go check out our interview with Kat Abu. It was really good. I love his intros where he looks all like, ooh. Has he ever read a comic book? Has he ever even looked at one?
I suppose I've had the same problems.
Anytime he opens his mouth. I suppose I've had the same problems. Open your eyes, Jordan. You're on camera.
Once and maybe again, President Donald J. Trump, that are shared by many. It wasn't obvious to me at all that his first shot at the leadership of the world's most powerful country was anything other than a brilliant and unorthodox marketing scheme. Albeit one that succeeded beyond the wildest of imaginings. Congratulations, Mr. President.
You guys know Barron is 6'9" now? If you're 6'9" and you can't hoop, I don't respect you.
I knew him only at that point as a self-promoting, bombastic, quintessentially American-type celebrity, reminiscent, in my imagination, of Colonel Tom Parker, the morally ambivalent, although indubitably successful promoter.
It's so funny how like Jordan Peterson uses big words to talk about fundamentally like unserious people.
Of Elvis Presley. However, Trump made a name for himself in...
I love this camera angle. I'll tell you a few things I love about it. One, I love it. Yeah, it makes his feet look massive and his head look tiny. It also creates this illusion that like Jordan Peterson's just talking to someone and riffing, and we have like the side camera view. And again, like side camera, I get it. I get it. We have a side camera thing we're doing in the setup for a second channel. But it seems like they're really forcing this illusion if he's just kind of like rapping.
In the difficult business of construction, where, particularly in cities such as New York and Chicago, all manner of corruption and trouble had to be managed. A challenging matter to keep the projects going on time. And
what is he doing? He is a smart man because he built the building so big. He also
Something else about that angle, it makes it much easier to read without looking like you are.
Oh, what a prick. Sorry, I'm just kidding. He's really smart and I respect him. I like to objectively analyze people. I like truly have a case of the Mondays. This is the second time recently I've had an actual, like I feel like I have the Mondays right now. Part of it might be because I think on Saturday I accidentally did a little too much drugs and I'm still recovering from that. What?
And within budget. Anyone who's ever undertaken a renovation of any magnitude knows how badly such things can spiral out
You think he's done a renovation of a big magnitude?
of control without diligent devotion of time and attention. He managed, while doing so, to make himself quite famous. Another feat that is by no means as simple as those who have never done it might imagine.
Somebody who was at
He's good because he's famous.
in New York said when you were seated, you got the loudest applause. People stood up and roared and cheered.
So maybe there was something to him on the diligence, attention, and negotiation front that belied his mere success as a celebrity. After that, of course, he was co-producer and host of the reality shows The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice.
He's like talking about this like they're serious. Like I was listening to a philosophy podcast on my way to the office today, and he's using the same tone as the people I was listening to who were like, and then when Hegel wrote The Science of Logic, he reconsidered the way that epistemology affected our metaphysics. And that's like the tone at which he's talking about just this stupid show. Like a fundamentally dumb show that that's like been a part of the dumbing down of the American intellect.
These were highly successful, and for a long time, particularly by legacy media TV standards, running more than a decade from 2004 to 2015. He's also the author of 19 books, collaborating with various ghostwriters, and has been involved in a true variety of other business enterprises.
Okay, he just tried to make him sound smart because he's the author of 19 books, and he was like, written with various ghostwriters. Like, come on.
Yeah, he was smart enough to hire people, I guess.
Oh my god. Yeah. I wrote one book and there was no ghostwriters involved, so S might be Donald
You
Trump.
sound like Golden.
This history of entrepreneurial activity, combined with his successful bids for attention, speaks to two of President Trump's cardinal personality features. He is extremely extroverted. That is, both assertive and enthusiastic.
He's using like a Wikipedia definition of extroversion to try to talk about this. Like, what are we doing? Do you guys ever think some days, like, do you ever really just look around at the way we live life and just think, like, what the fuck? You know, this morning I was making oatmeal for my daughter and I had to set an alarm and I used my phone to set the alarm. Isn't it psychotic that so many activities of like day-to-day life are mediated via this fucking thing? It's made in a sweatshop and collecting data constantly? Like, that's weird. And we just take it for granted. And this stuff, you know? Like, I just...
If you didn't have a phone, you think you'd keep a calendar, like a physical, like write in what you're actually like?
I wish I wanted to. With like hot firemen on it.
I just don't know if I'd keep myself organized like that. And I was thinking about how much my phone does leave me in that way.
But then it's like, it would be, maybe we wouldn't need the phone to keep us hyper-organized if our life wasn't so structured around productivity.
Right.
You know? I don't know. Laura Christian is right. You are very right. Yeah, unfortunately, that's it. We don't even watch porn on our computers anymore. We use our phones now. Oh, man.
Yes, it is.
something about the phone feels weird. I wouldn't know. I've never voted in my beverages.
As you will.
Although
Don't
more
yell.
particularly
I can
the
hear you,
former
Chuck. Yes,
rather than
yes,
the latter,
a standard
and also at least
that.
relatively high in trait openness, which is the single best predictor of entrepreneurial / creative activity and prowess after general intelligence. This makes him high in the personality meta-trait of plasticity, which is characterized primarily by the capacity.
Wait, how do you have a meta trait?
The way to
just
the
a trait?
surface is
Like,
clear.
It's like,
Good luck to you.
it's not like I want to like die in a
You're
physical
Johnson?
sense,
Oh, I
but I want to be like existentially alive. You know? Here's what I'm talking about. Like, I want to live. I want to like continue to be with my family and stuff like that. But I just want to be existentially wrecked or something like that.
I think you're experiencing black magic. Just the way Peterson commands words like violence towards your ears is making you insane.
As you desire.
I also think he's misusing the term plasticity. We'll see. One of the only like neuroscience things I know a good amount about is plasticity and neuroplasticity. So I'm very curious to see what he does there. But like, think about the underlying assumptions here too. The idea that like this like entrepreneurial personality type is like good. No, a lot of people that start businesses and their CEOs are psychopaths. So it's like not a good, cool thing. Also, don't call him creative. The guy's not fucking Yoko Ono. That'd be funny if she was president.
Change, grow, and transform. Something quite evident in the case of Trump, who is a very dynamic
You're right, the
individual
nerd,
indeed,
Michael.
particularly given his age. Many people have been set in concrete with regard to their essential being by the time they're 30. Not Trump. He reinvents him.
Oh my God. So he's saying most of us are set in our essential being. First of all, what does that mean? You know what I mean? If we're going to say essential being
I am yours
in like a more
to
classical
command.
sense, right?
That
Like
is yours.
we're talking about, you know, essential personality and character traits that are innate. But he's basically trying to say that like Trump is a classic model of Sartrean existentialism. His existence
Shaw,
precedes
guy
his
trusts is
essence.
foolish,
With each new
and the
towering activity of industry, Trump reinvents himself, becoming a new master of the cosmos, something that crying liberals pity and can't understand. Like,
himself constant and with a high degree of continual success. That can happen by chance once, perhaps twice. But if it is sustained across many decades, there is something substantive and real at work.
being a good scammer and making the most money isn't like an, oh my God.
Hey, we hit 666.
Hey, spooky week, we hit 666. I feel like I'd like the Dark Lord to just evaporate my core being right now.
Work. I also followed the Donald with great amusement on Twitter during his
Taco Bowl. It's Taco Day. Oh my God.
presidential run and afterward when he was in office, before he was turfed so scandalously by the progressive good thinkers who infested the platform, and who must be commended on their arrogance, presumption, and sheer gall. The man has a devastating and underappreciated, at least by the legacy leaders of opinion.
He used to be a Harvard professor, guys. He used to be an actual, like, academic professor with a PhD who taught college students and wrote academic books. And now he's sitting in a little room, just like, let's be honest, filleting an ex and maybe future president and comparing him to comic book characters.
Victory shall be ours.
And sense of
You know
humor,
I shall follow
although
your
it is
strength.
also somewhat ruthless. I own a very comical book, The Collected Poems of Donald J. Trump, available for purchase at the Daily Wire website, by the way.
Wait, what?
Oh my God. He just did a quick integrated marketing for a book they sell at the Daily Wire that's the poems of Trump. I hang myself at the Daily Wire.
I'm curious. What do Trump poems? What are they?
I guess we're gonna hear about him.
Gather your party before.
I mean, here's the thing I'm gonna say too, guys. Like, if you are here and your vibe is just like, I like this man. Okay, here's all I'm gonna say. Like, I would maybe. Alex.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's it called? Y Theory.
Destiny
Alok
awaits.
Revi, who I feel like you have a different name on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you left
No,
a
not
YouTube
her.
comment about how there's controversy in the comments in the video we should respond to. I was trying to figure out what you were referring to, either if you want to leave a comment, in the chat, I'll try to keep track of it. We're watching this thing. If you want to shoot an email, I know you've emailed before at wisecracklive666. I would love to hear more about that. No pressure, but I know that you're a good egg. And I know you. If you have thoughts, I want to hear about them. If anyone watches this and you're like a Peterson guy, it's like, what does he make you feel? You know what I mean? Because if it makes you feel smart, you're probably smarter than him. So you don't need him to make you feel smart. So let's learn about the poems of Trump.
Was his most memorable tweets and declarations from 2009 to 2019.
They're selling a book in Trump
library edition, hardback form. It is a ridiculously funny tome. I believe that deeper consideration of this proclivity for the viciously funny is also useful in shedding more general light on Trump's admittedly complex personality. First, we should fairly note that dictatorial types, a category which his enemies insist he falls into, are generally not known for their sense of humor. People were imprisoned in the Stalinist Soviet Union for being the first to stop applauding after a speech by the great leader.
Yes.
Criticism was absolutely out of the question, and certainly not forthcoming from the top. I've also never imagined many of the really things said by Adolf Hitler.
The argument is Trump isn't dictatorial because he's never seen all the things that Hitler said, but the only reason he's seen a compendium of the witty things Trump said is because the stupid, weird website that he works for published that book. That's probably how jokes.
Or Fidel, or Chairman
What's your
Mao.
favorite Hitler joke? No, don't do that. Castro is definitely funny.
Or Chairman Mao.
Mao probably not funny. I'm not saying any of the people are good or bad. I'm just saying I don't think Mao was funny. But there's pictures of Castro where they're laughing.
Runs in thin skin in some settings, and he can take a joke as well as failure. He was roasted on Comedy Central in 2011, and back and forth self-deprecating several times with David.
This is a guy who, when Jimmy Kimmel says something mean about him, he melts down on the internet for an hour, and now we're going to say
he even made a joke about getting wood during his presidential debate with Joe Biden. You're not the wood, you're the wood.
I'm sorry. Did Peterson just say, he made a joke about having wood? Was that a dick joke? Was Jordan Peterson talking about dick?
I'm caught off guard by Trump's gaze or policy.
Oh my God. What is he? Who's convinced by this?
So, I don't understand what Jordan Peterson's thesis has been so far as what he's trying to set up for discussion in his video.
Yeah, he made a dick joke, so it means that he has a good personality.
Trump's sustained celebrity for decades, and therefore something.
I'm not trying to be weird when I say this, but I think almost everything he said thus far you could say about O.J. Simpson. I'm not saying O.J. Simpson's good or bad, but I'm just saying it's like you described.
I could say it about the Kings too. They've been a cultural presence since the 80s as well.
Yeah. O.J. was funny. Very funny jokes about not feeling glad that people
I don't think he could help himself. And I truly like that. He's rough in his jokes, but no more so than Bill Burr.
What is the comparison here? You're comparing Bill Burr. I hope to God Bill Burr sees this, because Bill Burr. First of all, Bill Burr doesn't buy shit who Jordan Peterson is, but he would eviscerate him.
You honestly, you ever see how they fall? They fall like toddlers.
And is it not the case that a certain degree...
It's kind of weird, too. He showed a really old Burr clip, not in context. I don't know. Because Bill Burr is one of those people who chuds like to think that he's one of them, but he's actually not. But yeah, again, the comparison doesn't make sense. To say that a comedian performing a joke in a comedic context is comparable to a presidential candidate who just says that. It's just a different thing.
Degree of harshness is necessary for serious comedy? Understanding and appreciating this.
The moment that Jordan Peterson starts like giving his theory of comedy is the moment that I hope a tidal wave right now. The ocean's that way. I pray to God that this whole thing goes dark in a few seconds. Maybe you see,
it's long past
the
time
tide
for turnip tea.
as it tears this whole building down.
Oh yeah, Mav brings up that OJ was in the Naked Gun movies, and great comedic timing and acting there.
Yeah, and Skeever said Bill Burr can change his mind. Yeah, like Bill Burr is someone who is like, he's grown a lot. And anytime you see Bill Burr asked about like a social issue by like a chud, he's always like, "Are you an idiot? Of course people should get to do whatever they want." I just say, "Well, you people have tiny penises, so you're mad at someone's trans. Who cares? I don't care." Like I went to New York and he's Boston, and I know that.
I shall follow your
sorry.
strength.
Scott, we did speed him up. Porkins, come on, San Andreas. But yeah, like just Jordan Peterson, theorist of comedy, is just like, oh my God.
Helps in comprehending one of Trump's more remarkable features. His serious attractiveness to the working class.
His serious attractiveness to the working class.